Hello, veterans, DKV employees, everybody out there in social media world and YouTube land. Hey, welcome to the channel here at Veteran Lang. Hey, Veteran Lang is a channel that's designed for education purposes when it comes to VA compensation benefits, with the ultimate goal of making the process of receiving those benefits smoother and easier between veterans and VA alike. It takes all of us to make the system work. So we try to focus in on everybody there in our goal and give the education that we do have. And always look forward to learning from everybody out there too, VA, you as well, veterans. Yeah, we'd love to hear your education, your points of view on things to help better our level of understanding as well. I think it's the best way to learn from each other. I am your friendly VA accredited Matt Lang here to do that. Veterans, if you do need assistance or looking for potential representation for your appeals or new claims or increased claims, reach out to me, veteranlang.com. So that's, again, veteranlang.com. You can get my calendar there. Hey, don't forget, we got some good VSOs out there. We've got some other good VA accredited agents and attorneys out there too, ready to help you out. So check out them as well and find who you're comfortable with. I think that's a key goal there, is to be comfortable with who you work with. As I tell everybody, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm just here to help you out. And I'm not from the government anymore. All right, my jokes get pretty dry. Bear with me. There we go. All right, let's talk about this topic today. This is going to be a really short topic. It's going to be pretty brief. Veterans, did you know that the VA's got a requirement in the United States Code that says they have a duty to not just assist, but to notify? They do. They really do. Many times the two go hand in hand, the duty to notify and the duty to assist. But let's see if we can pull out the duty to notify part from the duty to assist part. I believe we've talked in another video about the duty to assist, and we can always go in more detail of that later on too, from that video. But the duty to notify, here's the short end of it. I'm not going to bore you with all the legalese and all the case law and all that today. I'm just going to give you the cliff notes here. The idea is that there's a duty to notify veterans you when a decision is made, to notify you what evidence can help your claim, to identify things that the VA may even need to help your claim along. So let's start at the beginning. You file a brand new claim, initial claim. The way that you were notified has changed over the years. They used to call it a VCAA notice. Later on, there are some amendments to the section inside of the United States Code where the Veterans Claims Assistance Act, VCAA, exists. Then they started calling it a 5103 notice. It's all the same thing. In short, it's just the section inside the law that got changed. So you may hear either one of those terms at the beginning of it all. Just know that that goes to that duty to notify. So ultimately, veterans, what used to happen is you'd get this lengthy application, or before even standardized forms, you would just write down whatever you're claiming on a piece of notebook paper, or as we always joked, a piece of toilet paper. Before all that. But for today, you now write down that claim on a specialized form. If it's an original claim, new claim for increase, 526EZ, 21-526EZ. But the idea is anytime before veterans, you would file a claim before the requirement changed, you were mailed about 15-page letter to cover all the duty to notify bases, to cover every possible type of evidence you could submit and so many other things. It was so long, it was very confusing, it was probably a very boring read. Yeah, it drew a lot of questions from veterans for sure when I worked inside the VA. So that's what you had at the beginning. Well, along the lines, what you're going to see now is when you access that 526EZ, on the cover of the document is a number of pages that replace, or was supposed to replace, that letter. So now that's one way it's been deemed the VA is notifying you of the evidence and all that stuff that's required underneath the duty to notify when you file a claim. It doesn't just stop there. We still have veterans who get some of those letters that are just much shorter now, not 15 pages long, that say, hey, you can file this as evidence. It becomes really confusing. I'll tell you the truth on that one from the perspective here, from the veterans' perspective, from what we have observed in our representation, because then veterans are like, well, didn't you submit that evidence? Yeah, we did. We did. And there's no reason to send us that notification letter now because they have that evidence. They don't need to send that letter. So VA, hey, do us a favor. I appreciate you. I appreciate you on the duty to notify attempt, but you don't got to send us everything. Understand the requirements and the rules there. I think sometimes you're adding more confusion to the process and making it more complicated because now the veteran may be duplicating evidence and slowing you down. So it might be something to consider. Consider there. Either way, the duty to notify is there. What I learned it to become when those letters got sent out when I worked inside the VA was really a CYA to avoid quality errors. There were always questions, when do we send it, when we don't. So I would recommend that VA, you kind of get up on that, understand those rules and regulations there. A little bit better if you already don't. We'll go through other videos where we'll probably deep dive it, but I just want to give you the summary overview today of the duty to notify. So there's that. So veterans, you may get that in the mail still, a letter, even though it's already a part of the claim. And it's just the VA trying to fulfill that duty to notify. Now, the other big one that I'm going to move into is the VA has to notify you of the decisions they make, veterans. So you will get notification in mail, in the U.S. mail, of the decision that was made. And it's going to really be a letter, and then it's going to include the decision as an enclosure and a bunch of other documents that are enclosed, just to give you information that's out there to help you out, veterans, that the VA is just kind of required over time. Alert you to different things in the process, where to file appeals, how to file appeals, and information on that, and so forth. Now, so this duty to notify is ultimately giving you what the VA, what I know from working inside the VA, called a notification letter, and then giving you a rating decision, at least the narrative to it, which is only half of the decision, but that's all that they were required to give. These are supposed to be documents that provide you with the reasons and bases of the decision that was made. And we've talked about before, they're very bad. And again, I see the bad and ugly. So they may be a little confusing and not quite understandable. It may not quite meet that duty to notify properly, or some other areas of law when it comes to reasons and bases. But the point here for this video is that they do have a duty to notify you of that decision, veterans. So they'll send that out. Now, if any time, veterans, that the decision involves a proposal to decrease or reduce, sever of some sort, the VA also has a duty to assist, or duty to notify, excuse me. There, they'll have to send you that decision. They'll send you a notification letter. And sometimes what you'll see is maybe some confusion here when it comes inside what the VA should do or shouldn't do and how they should approach it. I've seen both ways in my career, but what we're seeing right now is a separate notification letter of the decision, and then a separate, what they call due process letter, which is ultimately a notification letter or a notice to you, veterans, of the proposal and the actions that you can take in your rights. Sometimes you'll see that all in one letter, that notification, that due process, but we're seeing a lot of times it's two separate letters now. Ultimately, the point is it's a duty to notify. Now, what I want to get at in this video here is veterans, you have to understand that while there is a duty to notify you in your claims, there's also a duty to notify somebody like myself, any representative on your claim or on your appeal. Now, the VA is going to do that typically, as I've experienced it, through the mail. They're just going to send the letter out. So no matter what level we are in the notification process, at the beginning of the claim, at the end of the claim, in the middle of the claim, they're just going to send it out to the mail. What I find fairly interesting is veterans, from what I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because you'll see this firsthand more than I do, but if there's a letter that's asking you for evidence, that's just a letter in the mail that notifies you, but you don't get like an email to notify you You don't get any other correspondence to typically notify you. But when the decision comes out, I have seen veterans who had emails that said, hey, VA made a decision that day, that the decision was released. So I think that's interesting that we have an inconsistency there inside the system. Inside the VA system that says, hey, we're meeting our duty to notify, but we're going to do it differently on each way. Now, granted, they still send you the paper copy for the decision, but you get an email for that, and you can access that. You should be able to access that decision inside the VA app or the VA's website, or the old e-benefits as it was known, to see that right away. So that's how you're going to get notified, veterans, on that decision. Maybe that's a proposed decision, or it's that other decision, granting or denying. But what I think was more fascinating is the idea that the representatives don't get more than the paper. I don't get the email notification. I don't get the on-the-spot notification. It's almost like I'm being circumvented as your representative, which leaves another inconsistency in the system, and I think could be maybe worked out. But those are my opinions. Like I said, this year I'm leaving a lot of those out of here. It's all about education. But uniquely enough, veterans, if you have a claim that went to the Board of Veterans Appeals, the Board of Veterans Appeals will email me when that decision is done. I do get notice from them, from their system, when they click finish, or whatever button they click nowadays to complete that decision, whether that be a denial, a grant, or a remand. And I get that actually before the notification goes out. So I think that's great, because it allows me to respond and assist much quicker on the claim for you veterans. But again, it's an inconsistency inside the VA's own system that, well, why one does it, the other one does not. And so I want to make that aware to you veterans in this video, especially. The VA does have a duty to notify, and that notification is ultimately being met by the mailing of the documents. But based upon some of the inconsistencies, you may receive that notification in some other different means, such as an email. And just in case you're working with another representative or you're working with us, just understand that when you see those veterans, that we're not seeing those right away if they come from the VA side. So that delays our process, unfortunately. And I don't know how other representatives or attorneys, agents, VSOs would do it. So you have to kind of check with them if you're working with any of them. But I will let you know that from my office here, we will greatly appreciate, and we do, just a quick drop of a note that, hey, I got a decision today. It prompts us to go in the system faster than waiting for the mail or doing one of our random checks. Then we can try to get things a little bit quicker for you. So there you go. In short, just a quick nutshell: duty to notify is part of the duty to assist laws. It's in the United States Code, and that's what VA is doing. When you see those letters that you don't understand, perhaps veterans or VA, that's what you're doing when you're sending out letters. You're not sure if you're discovering yourself or what reason you might be sending them out for. It's the idea of duty to notify. It does exist in the law. So again, that could be just letting veterans know what needs to be provided or what you can provide for your claim to help support it, and things like, hey, here's the decision. So yeah, that's really all I have today for this topic here. And I think the highlight I really want to point out is just to kind of help veterans understand that we don't get the notifications the same way. There are inconsistencies in the system, and maybe that's something we can fix to make the process smoother down the road. So until then, thank you for stopping by for another quick talk. I always appreciate your support, and I will see you on next Tuesday with another topic of VA compensation benefits, and let's see if we can make that process smoother in the end. Thanks, everyone.